Social Changemakers Podcast. I am your host, Khalilah Denney, and today we are going to have a wonderful conversation with a wonderful individual. Miss Kim Rhim from the Training Source is here with us today. We want to welcome you.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Yes.
Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. So we're going to have a deep dive into who Miss Rhim is, and what your the Training Source offers. We're going to talk about how you started this work and a little bit about your family history and the things that make you who you are, your reason why.
Yeah.
And then we're going to talk. We're going to do a little segment on best practices in fundraising.
Okay.
All right. So let me start the conversation with. Tell me, who Kim Rhim is today. Who you are as an individual, who you want people to know you as.
Okay. Today, first and foremost, again, thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm.
Today, I would see myself as a successful nonprofit executive. I have run the Training Source for 31 years. We have impacted many lives, and I'm proud of every life that we've had the opportunity to positively impact, and those we've impacted in any kind of way. Had the opportunity to partner with a lot of other organizations, had the opportunity to experience a lot of things and receive a lot of recognition and rewards. And so hard work does pay. It also requires that you give up a lot of sacrifice for hard work. But every sacrifice has been worth it in terms of the way we've been able to make an impact in the DMV. Yes. So a nonprofit executive doing workforce development, youth leadership, college and career readiness, community supportive services, employer staffing assistance, and staff training. So those are some of our hallmark programs.
Yes. So you guys have started, so you dived right into the work that the Training Source does. And I am so excited for you and the success that you've had. And she's a mentor for me, right? I'm trying to get to where you are, right, successfully.
Thank you.
You are, you have been able to win several awards as it relates to fundraising and things of that nature. But before we get into that, I just want to know what's your why? What's the reason Kim Rhim, does the work that she does at the Training Source?
I believe every nonprofit begins from an experience the founder had. And I had never had any intention of starting a nonprofit, but was working at IBM, which was my dream job coming out of graduate school. And so I had everything I wanted. I was wearing my dark suits, white shirts, the little silk ties, all of that. And 9 years in, IBM laid off 100,000 people in a single day. I was not one of the people laid off, but saw the devastation of people who were. And most of the people who did lose their jobs had been there over 18 years. And so, some of them could bridge to retirement, and some of them had to figure out how to start a whole new career.
Oh, all over again.
All over again. And IBM then was like the cream de la cream of corporate America. And so that means when you're working at like one of the best companies, you're living sometimes at your means. So you're living in a big house and driving a big car and got your kids in big schools. And they were devastated, because how am I going to keep up this lifestyle?
Wow.
And so I started helping people write resumes, develop job search strategies, but most importantly, a belief that I can get beyond this and I can start something new, probably what used to be my own dream job, and I can survive and be successful again.
Yeah.
The more I did it, the more I believed God wanted me to do that. And we'll talk a little bit, I guess, about my background, and that'll add to the story.
Yeah.
But I believe God wanted me to do that with my career and the people that I was able to bring aboard, and that was the beginning of the Training Source. And so it started from IBM laying people off. Had they not, I might be still working at IBM.
Wow. So. See, and that is crazy because they talk a lot about how our 9-to-5s are somewhat of a trap.
Yeah.
Because we're getting good money, we're, living well, sometimes a little above our means, and there's a higher calling.
Correct.
There's a higher calling for us. We should be doing something more, something different, something more in line with the way God has bent us.
We all have one. Yep.
That is right. So what year was that?
That was 1993. March 15th was the announcement of the layoff. I took the buyout package, which meant I had to be gone by May 31st. Cried in my manager's office because I loved IBM.
Yeah.
I still say we 31 years later. At IBM, we this and we that.
Right.
And appreciate all the training and the resource development and skills that I got. I was a proposal manager at one point.
Okay.
So I got a lot of the great skills. As a matter of fact, I always say God was ordering my steps because I wasn't going up a traditional career ladder at IBM. And I believe that every position I had was preparing me for the work I was going to do at the training source.
Awesome. And now, so the training source, just to slow it down a bit and talk about the different opportunities that individuals have at the training source. There's resume writing, you said. There's a training for workforce readiness.
Yeah.
I know you offer clothes to individuals who are looking to interview and just possibly need work clothes to go to work and look professional.
Yeah.
You're also offering food now, right? Did I hear that correctly?
We help people apply for SNAP and benefits so they keep food on the table.
Yes.
And we partner with some of the food distribution programs to share information about our programs and services. Because if you need food, then you probably need work.
That's
and
right.
We can help you get the work. You can buy your own food.
That's right. That's right. So I'm glad you said partner, because that's one of the ways that we're able to offer food is through partnering with people like this. St. Stephen's is one of our church partners that provides food to the community. So we send people to them all the time, refer people over there.
Absolutely.
Having partners and that can help you make sure that the impact that you have on your clients is
expanded.
Right.
We know what we do, but working with partners, we can have them be served even better.
Yeah, that is so true. That's so true. So as it relates to the training source, what did I miss? Did I miss any?
So our workforce programs all have some kind of certification. So you can get like a customer service certification, you can get a hospitality certification. We're about to consider security certification, which one large employer asked us to do during the pandemic, and the way we discovered it, we couldn't do it. But now all of a sudden things are dropping in our lap, so we may be offering it very, very soon. We may be doing that as well. So what we try to do is listen to employers and the labor market and see what's in demand, what are people looking for, and we try to gear our programs toward training people to be able to enter those roles. And we don't, all you have to get in our job training is a high school diploma or GED and a desire to work full-time upon the completion of training. And so the whole goal is to prepare them to get in where they fit in and grow by what they show and what they know. So somebody might come in with a master's degree. Hold on.
We're not gonna speed past that. Let's get that say that again now.
Get in where you fit in and grow by what you show and what you know.
All right.
Which means once you get in, you have to perform well and you have to continue to learn. Lifelong learning is the road to success. And so when we say get in where you fit in, we like industries that have on-ramps, different on-ramps. So if you just have a high school diploma, you get it on the first floor. If you have associates, you get it on the second floor. If you have a college degree, third floor.
Right.
And hospitality is a career like that. Security is a career like that. And office and professional services, so the financial services industry, things like that. And those are the kind of sectors that we want to focus on.
Okay, so do you all provide the certifications yourselves, or are you partnering with other organizations? And for instance, for our heavy equipment training and certification, we do partner with Employ Prince George's to help us with recruitment. We partner with, I'll say, the National Association of Landscape Professionals to provide the certifications for the landscape training.
Right.
And then ePro Solutions for our heavy equipment operations. So is that how it works for you?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. We are able to proctor the exams, on the ones that we do directly ourselves.
Oh, good.
And those are through the American Hotel and Lodging Educational Institute, AHLEI. But then we will partner with other organizations that are also doing training, but not doing like soft skills training or not doing the professional skills, like the resume interview, and then they're doing the certification piece, and we're doing everything else.
I love it. So the hands-on technical training may come from another organization, but you provide that supportive services for interviewing,
exactly.
And the like.
Right. So let's say you do heavy equipment training. I don't know the whole gamut of it, but let's say that you teach them how to use the equipment, all of that, certify them on it, but you don't do resume writing, you don't do interview techniques, things like that. You might call us in to partner on that side. So we've done solar in this industry. We don't do solar.
Right.
But they did the solar pieces, and we did everything else, time management, customer service, those kind of pieces, because you need to have all of that no matter what industry you're going in.
Understood. So that kind of segues into one of the topics that I wanted to talk about when it comes to fundraising and nonprofits, how we are able to sustain financially. Yeah. And one of the biggest ways that a lot of people miss when they start out is contracts. Yes. You know, being able to contract with other organizations, being able to contract with the county and with their local government, and like I said, other, you know, philanthropic partners, and even some for-profit entities will hire you to do certain work. Right. And it's a whole different game when you are, you know, servicing an individual or servicing a contract versus a grant, right? With your 30 plus years in service, tell me how has that been a game changer for you?
So I believe that sustainability requires a diversified funding stream, period. So I think you need a mix of grants and contracts, and you need you know, some government funds, you need corporate funds, you need individual donations, you need to have some earned income. That's right. And you need some like fundraising kind of events, individual donors doing certain things. So we do all of that. Yeah. And that's necessary because when one thing is up, another thing might be down, and if all your eggs in one basket and that basket goes down, you're going down too. Yeah,
I learned that the hard way. We, a couple years ago, had all of our money pretty much coming in from contracts, government contracts. We weren't really applying for grants and things like that. And there was a halt on all spending for about 4 months. Yeah. And I was in a panic. I was like, you know, but I learned from that. I learned from my mistake. And now we are making sure that we are, you know, going after all types of dollars, fundraising and the like. So, absolutely. So yeah. So speaking of that, tell me, give me a best practice, you know, as it relates to, you know, contracts for nonprofits, and talk about the importance of understanding how we run our nonprofits like actual businesses, and that we are able to, you know, receive funding where the not in kind, but the oh my gosh, what is it called? You said it. It's and for some reason it's escaping me.
Funding, in kind contributions.
Making your own money.
Oh, earned income.
Earned income. There it is.
Exactly.
And a lot of times when we talk about earned income as a nonprofit, people get kind of worried because they think, oh, okay,
we can't make any money.
Yeah, we can't make any money. The IRS gonna come get us and take it all back and all of that. But it's how we spend the money. Right. In our nonprofit that makes us a nonprofit. So, you know, talk a little bit about that.
Okay, so you actually mentioned about 5 topics in that question.
Pick whichever one you want. I was all over the place.
So I teach at Prince George's Community College for about 20 years, how to start a nonprofit and best practices in nonprofits, 2 different classes. The first class was until about 2 years ago, was called Nonprofit Business Basics. And I named it that intentionally. Okay. Because when I first started the training source, IBM gave me a lot of stuff. And they said, but stop saying you started a business, because a nonprofit is not a business. And I was like, well, let me not run it like a business and see how fast I want to be out of nonprofit. Exactly. Right. So I have to run it like a business. And that's what I really want anybody who ever thinks about running a nonprofit to understand is, you know, when people say, I don't want to work for anybody, we run a nonprofit, you work for everybody.
That's right.
Okay, let's first and foremost say that. So you're working for the people you're serving, but you're also working for the people who are paying you to serve those people.
That's right.
And when you apply for a contract, you have to have the capacity to manage that contract. So if you say you're going to train 100 people, it doesn't mean 57. It doesn't mean 30. Right. It doesn't, you know. So you need to be able to meet the goals that you say. If you're going to train 155 are going to get certified, and of those 54 are going to go to work. You have to do that. Whatever you say is going to happen, you have to show how you're going to measure it, and you have to submit reports. Reports have to be submitted on time. You have to reapply. The money doesn't just come because they knew you were good.
Right.
So you still have to reapply for that funding. And no matter how well you're doing, you still need to be aware, as they say, stay woke. Mm-hmm. Just like you said, your whole funding halted for 4 months. Yeah. So no matter how well you're doing, the whole priority can change. So, for example,
especially when you're in an election year and you've got all new people coming in with new priorities and new new folk working for them and they don't know your name, right?
Nope, you've not built a relationship with them. Nope, exactly. So I mean, anything can happen for us. We've only ever operated at a loss once. That was 2005, and that was with a lot of change coming as well. But we were scared to death of 2020 because we operate on a calendar year. So we had just done a strategic plan. We're going to do all these new things, and here March 13th they say go home. 2/3 of our budget was affected.
Wow.
2/3 of our annual budget. And so it was like, okay, what are we going to do? Yeah. And so we had to get extremely creative. We had to take our organization from being a 100% in-person desktop computer Microsoft training organization to a 100% remote training organization. Yeah. Finding ways to serve people remotely.
But you pivoted well.
We were doing ballet pivots.
Come on now.
We pivoted in a major way and probably had one of our most successful years. But it was not the year we planned.
It's funny you say that because COVID is when we really started just growing astronomically. That's when we started the landscape management. Everybody was outside. You know what I'm saying? Nobody, was at work. They were in their own homes looking at, their yards and how they can, beautify and, make their community or make their living space, better, right? And then we picked up a contract for stormwater management to clean up the ponds in the community. And that really helped us sustain throughout COVID.
Right. Yeah. And that's a major thing for nonprofits. I was just at another meeting yesterday, and we were talking about what a benefit of a nonprofit is. We can pivot quickly. Sometimes you have bureaucracy in government. It might take years for something to happen, but we can be flexible, and we have to be able to innovate.
That's right.
So, we have to, again, stay woke, see what's going on and say, well, we can do this, or if we can do this, then we can also do that.
Yeah.
And so we're always looking at how we can work better, faster, smarter, more effectively, or more efficiently.
That is awesome. And that's another reason why it's so important to make relationships in this industry. Yeah. To make sure that we are, have partners that are either serving the same people that we're serving, but maybe providing a different, a different service, but us coming together as a coalition of organizations serving that one person is making sure that they get everything that they need.
That's exactly
right. And it just helps us.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
It's also important from a credibility perspective. So before you asked about best practices, and so we believe in serving with excellence, and so therefore we want the world to know that's what we're trying to do. So we seek certifications and accreditations that improve our own credibility because that leverages additional funds.
Yeah.
So we are Standards for Excellence accredited, and that means that we voluntarily comply with 55 best practices for nonprofit management.
Tell me more.
So it's sponsored by Maryland Nonprofits, but it's a national accreditation program. So it's sponsored by Maryland Nonprofit Standards for Excellence Institute. So it's a separate entity.
Okay.
And they certify nonprofits all over the country. But it means that you do the best with board governance. You do the best with your financial operations. You do the best with fundraising. You do the best with program evaluation. You do the best with human resources, so policies and procedures. So each one of those things if you're interested in them helping you get there, because we never thought we'd be able to get there as a small nonprofit. But they have educational packs, they have sample policies and procedures, and so we were able to get a capacity building grant and move forward with it. We started with an assessment, saw that we had 18 already, and said let's just knock it out. Let's just knock it out until we were fully accredited. So we were the 6th nonprofit in Prince George's County to get it.
Oh, wow.
And that was 2009, and I don't think they're 20 yet.
Oh, my goodness.
And they've even taken that program into a tiered approach to make it easier.
So I did see something Employee Prince George's put out as it related to that.
Correct.
So is that the same program, just a different arm of it, or?
Well, they actually partner with Maryland Nonprofits that administers, and so does Nonprofit Prince George's County.
Oh, okay.
So they will help nonprofits get on get started.
Okay.
On the track for that.
So how was the process for you certifying or going through that process? Like, what did you find that you where you were lacking, and tell me where some of the areas where you actually were successful.
So I think the things we were lacking mostly were policies. A lot of policies that are required, or like record retention policy. I know you need those. I should have said legal. Legal is a whole section as well.
Okay.
Some of our grants will say you must hold on to documents for 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, and we did that by grant or by contract. But there's a best practice to keep things for 7 years, period, as a nonprofit. When we first started, our budget wasn't large enough that we had to do a financial audit, but to get accredited, we had to do a financial audit. And our revenue increased to the point where we had to start doing one anyway.
Oh, okay, that's good.
What are some other things? Oh, so we had a personnel manual that we had, found, adopted, however when we first got started, but we went to their personnel manual because it was the best practice for nonprofits.
Okay.
And then anything that we needed to bring over from ours is editable, but
Right.
they gave us the whole manual.
Oh, okay.
And said if you're using ours, that's a best practice. So those kinds of things. We used to fundraise and, people give people letters and say thank you for your donation.
Yeah.
But as a best practice, you have to say if you want a copy of our financials, you can do this. Or you can write to the state house to get it.
So transparency.
Transparency is very key.
Okay.
And speaking of transparency, there's an organization called Candid. Used to be GuideStar.
Yeah.
And every nonprofit's there, whether you want to be there or not.
Right.
Because they're like the Good Housekeeping, Better Business Bureau for
nonprofits.
nonprofits.
That's
Exactly.
right.
So if you have a 501c3 designation, your information is in there. But if you fill out your profile, then you can get higher and higher and higher.
Yeah.
The highest is platinum. So they have you're just in there,
Yeah.
or you can be silver, or you can be gold, or you can be platinum. Well, we're platinum rated.
Okay.
And that means fewer than 1% of all nonprofits are platinum rated. And that means you're transparent.
That's right.
So you're willing to put your information out there.
Yeah, so GuideStars, I'm glad you brought it up. So, again, it used to be, it's Candid now.
Right.
It used to be GuideStar. This is a platform that any and everybody who's in the nonprofit space needs to know about. We learned about it I'll say 7 years ago, about the fact that though we had a platform, we had a account, a profile, if you will, but we hadn't been updating it on a yearly basis. And there was a grant that we didn't receive. And we, asked for, some input as to why. And the lady she was transparent. She said, well, I went on GuideStar and I didn't see any of your information. So because I couldn't verify what you were saying and what I see on your website, some of the things I know you do, but it's not showing up and, we don't see your tax returns, none of that in GuideStar. Yeah. And because of that, we didn't get the funding. Yeah. So it was a lesson learned, and now we are making sure that we haven't gotten to the
Platinum.
The platinum yet, but we're at the one right below.
Is it gold?
I think no.
Or silver?
Silver.
I don't remember which one.
I can't remember.
Right.
But I know we're at silver.
Okay.
So we're getting there.
Yeah.
We're working on it. And the 10 years that we've been doing this, it's going on 11 years now.
Time flies. Congratulations. Exactly.
Just imagine if I didn't reach out to her and say, hey, just share with us why you didn't make it or why we didn't make it, I may not have ever found out about it.
Which is another best practice.
That's right.
I tell people whenever you get denied on a grant, or I tell people, job seekers, whenever you get denied on an employment opportunity, ask for feedback.
That's right.
If you don't know, you don't know.
That's right.
But if and sometimes they'll give it to you, sometimes they won't, but you miss 100% of the opportunities you don't pursue.
That's right.
So ask, actively seek knowledge.
That's right. That's right. So it's very important. We learned that early on, back when we were first applying for government grants. And the lady there who in the county exec's office, some reason her name escapes me, but she's not there anymore, but she was a wonderful woman.
Oh, wait a minute.
You know exactly who she is, light skin, worked with, she was the partners, the director over partners. Oh,
I'm looking right at her. I
can't think of her
glasses.
name right now. Oh, but anyway.
She'll be so mad.
I just want you to know, I'm going to be able to find your name and we're going to put it up on the screen.
And we love you.
And
Thank
we
you
love
for
you. One of the best things you ever told me was to go out and diversify my funds. She didn't tell me directly, and as a matter of fact, you were in the audience when I asked the question.
Oh, wow.
We were at the nonprofit symposium.
Okay.
And Leon Brown.
Oh, Diana Leon Brown.
Diana Leon Brown.
Yep.
I asked the question there because I was trying to figure out like what is it you keep talking about? This diversify your funds.
Right.
She said you have to find a way to make your own income.
Right.
And that's when we started doing contracts.
Yeah.
Because she's like, grants and donations alone is not what nonprofits live on.
Yeah.
And as a new nonprofit, I didn't understand what that meant to make your own income,
Yeah.
to diversify. And she said, Miss Denney, you gotta go out and make your own money.
Yeah.
So.
And if we do training, we started in '93, and in '94, I said, if we can train people without jobs to be successful at work, we can train people with jobs to be successful at work. So we wrote a proposal to the state of Maryland to train state employees.
Oh, wow.
And we were part of Personnel Reform Act. They had to train 60,000 employees on the Maryland's new HR system. We were teaching people in the state how to use Microsoft, all the other things that we do. And today, our biggest stream of income comes from corporate training.
Well, listen, did you hear that? She didn't wait for a proposal to come out that fit the description for what she's doing. You went out and created something and presented it, and it got it funded.
Yeah. So,
this is why you're successful.
Thank you very much.
That's the right attitude to have, and a lot of times we don't want to do the work that it takes to really get us through the door, where we need to go.
I think failure for me is not an option. And when I said we would talk a little bit about family later. So when I started the training source, I had a 1-year-old and a 5-year-old, and so I think my husband first thought I was having a midlife crisis. He told me take two aspirin and go back to work tomorrow because I don't know what you talk about. And so I had to convince him that I really thought this was what I wanted to do, and eventually he said, I support you in doing this. Yeah. And no, he said, if this is what you want to do, then do it. And I was like, that's not the right answer because I don't know when I'm going to get a paycheck. You might have to support me.
I remember that conversation.
And so he says, I support you.
Yeah.
And so that's what I needed to know that. I had my network behind me.
Yeah.
And so literally a year later, he ended up taking a promotion at his job. They had him in Detroit for 20 months.
Oh my!
So it was like being a single parent.
Wow.
And my kids one was in school now, another one was in daycare, and so I had a couch in my office. I had Robitussin in the cabinet. I had a blanket, because mommy had a lot of work to do.
Right.
And failure still was not an
option.
And he tried to convince me to just stop it and move to Detroit and do it there. And I was like, you don't understand.
Right.
You don't. I've now got the state contract. I now have a county contract. I got people sitting in seats being trained. I cannot make that kind of pivot at this point in the organization's life.
Yeah.
And so we got through that. He came back and got a better promotion back in D.C., which is where he should have been.
In the first place. Back home.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And so, all is well, but it takes a lot of sacrifice. And literally, and when I teach the classes at the college, I say you have to have stick-to-itiveness. I don't know, might not be in the dictionary, but it's a word because there's so many reasons to give up on any given day.
And you won't ever see failure if you don't give up.
Exactly.
I feel like a lot of times the reason why we didn't make it or didn't get to the place where we should have gotten is because we stopped too soon.
Yeah.
So as long as you keep moving forward, as long as you keep reaching towards your goal, as long as you're moving in that direction, you haven't failed. You're learning lessons on the way, but you're learning how to get to the place where you need to get to. And you're just one more step, one more step until you get to that success.
And there's a blessing in the lesson.
Yes.
So you have to look for the lesson. What did I learn from this? Because we all know insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
That's right.
So if that didn't work, why didn't it work?
Right.
And what can I do differently the next time so it can?
Well, listen, I ain't had to ask her many questions. This interview is just going so smoothly. I will say, let's talk a little bit about your family, like you said, your upbringing. Yeah. Where are you from?
I'm from Baltimore. I'm a Baltimore girl.
Yeah.
Graduated from Baltimore Public High Schools, Walmart High School.
Are you siblings? Do you have siblings?
I'm the baby.
You're the baby. Okay, so we both have the same syndrome.
Okay.
I'm the baby of 5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm the baby of 4. My father died when I was 5.
Okay.
So, and my mother was a stay-at-home mom then.
Okay.
And so she had to go back to work. So by
That had to be hard losing your dad at that.
It was very
age.
hard. And it was very different. My sisters are 5, 10, and 11 years older than I am. So our experiences are way different.
Okay.
You know, so my oldest sister had a car and was driving when my father died.
Okay.
And I was getting ready to go to kindergarten. And so it was very, very different. And by all accounts, and they say that if you grew up in a house without a father, you're not supposed to be successful or whatever. Well, I did, and I'm successful.
That's right.
So all things are possible. And but my oldest sister was a teacher in my high school by the time I got to high school. Okay. My mother was a teacher. My grandmother, my mother's from Louisiana, so my grandmother was a principal in Louisiana. My aunt was a educator in New Jersey. So that's all I thought I would ever be, was a teacher. I grew up saying, I'll go to college, I'll teach. And by the time I got to high school, I was extremely good because my sister was there. So I didn't get in much trouble. My principal was a member of my church, so I couldn't get in trouble there either. So I was a goody two-shoes in school, and so therefore I was National Honor Society and all of that. And so when I started looking for colleges and majors, everybody convinced me not to go into teaching because they said education doesn't pay. So I majored in business and then went on to Columbia University. But I had full ride to Howard, HU,
All right now.
And went on to Columbia with a full ride and got my master's in finance, corporate relations, and management.
Wow.
And so
you are truly phenomenal. You are phenomenal.
I'm just Kim Rhim. That's all I am. And so when I left grad school, I wanted to go into the corporate relations part because I'm a people person.
Right.
And I let my advisors convince me, no, you got to go into finance because you got to go where your money is. And so I went into finance and hated it. I don't care about numbers. And I went to the phone company. And I was there when call waiting came. And so I was doing what if analyses. What if we charge $1.50 a month? What if we charge $3 a month? When will we break even? What's our break even point? I was like, I don't care. But so it got to the point where my stomach hurt going to work every day. Because so many people do what they hate. And that was me at that point. But I had interned in graduate school at IBM.
Okay.
When I finished graduate school, I had been offered a position in Poughkeepsie, New York.
Poughkeepsie?
Yep, but everything else, like what I wanted to do at IBM, was all frozen. They weren't hiring, and I wasn't going to Poughkeepsie because now it's time for me to live my best life.
Poughkeepsie. We're gonna have to find Poughkeepsie on the map.
Right, it's a small IBM town. It was an IBM Stepford wife kind of town.
Wow. Okay.
And so it was time for me to live my best life. I'd been in school since kindergarten.
Wow.
So I came back to the DMV and got engaged right away, and got married the next year. But anyway, I say all that to say I went back to IBM.
Okay.
Because now it's later, they have openings and they hired me right away, and I moved over to Bethesda, where I started my career. But even at the phone company, I was there when CMP divested and it became Bell Atlantic.
Okay.
And I did a stress management class for our group workshop because we were stressed.
Yeah.
And when I went to IBM, when I became what was called a bid advisor or a proposal manager, there were 3 of us for all of federal marketing. Well, we expanded to 30. But I trained all the new proposal managers on how to,
So you were doing what you're doing now. Then
that's back to us having a
prepared.
gift.
That's right.
That's back to all of us getting, having a gift. And every time there was something, it was like, well, Kim, can you, do a little workshop? Can you teach them how to do this? Can you train the trainer, or whatever? And so when I ended up starting the training source, it was even a shock to me because sometimes while your steps are being ordered, you're not paying attention. But I'm a teacher.
Yes, you are.
You can call it whatever you want,
now.
and which is what I thought I was going to be as a kid. And
That's
so,
right.
We have innate skills and talents, and our gifts will make room for us. We just got to be ready to get in the room.
That is
so
true.
Don't get in line for the miracle if you don't want the miracle. So, I am living my best life. We do career assessments with our job seekers, and so I do it all the time, and it always tells me I'm an SEC in the John Holland codes, which is social, enterprising, and conventional. Okay. And it says I should be a nonprofit leader.
All right.
It says I should be a teacher.
Okay.
And then it says I should be a funeral director. And
okay.
As options.
I'm about to say that goes like.
But recently somebody said, no, I see that perfectly because you have that compassion. You can help people see beyond their current circumstance. So you probably would be a good funeral director. I won't ever. But when you put things in perspective, I think I do have the ability to help people overcome issues, obstacles, and barriers.
Yeah. You do seem very warm. I
Thank
feel like if I was to walk into your home as someone that you didn't know, I feel like I would still be embraced with open arms.
You would.
So I definitely could see that. I could see that for sure. All right, well, let's dive into some of the fundraising opportunities that have come your way and how you have been able to successfully secure grants and awards. And one of the ones in particular we wanted to talk about is the Chick-fil-A Award.
The True Inspiration
The
Award.
True Inspiration Award. Let's talk about your experience with that.
Okay. So we believe in being as creative as possible. And so if there is some new or unique opportunity to get funds, we want to try to do it.
Yeah.
So we became aware of the Chick-fil-A True Inspiration Award about 2 or 3 years ago. And one of my former neighbors is the owner of 2 Chick-fil-A's here in Prince George's County. And so he has been supportive of the training source and all of that. And so in order to even start the process, you must be nominated.
Yeah.
And so when we first found out about it, I reached out to him and he said, I wish I could, but I'm on the board of another nonprofit and I've already nominated that nonprofit. But come back next year, maybe I'll be able to nominate you. And so that must have been 2022, because 2023 we went back and said, hello, I'm back. Would you consider nominating the training source? And by the way, his name is Keith Singletary, and he owns the 2 Chick-fil-A's, one in Largo at Capitol Center and the other one in Steeplechase, right at Ritchie Road Station. So shout out to Chick-fil-A.
Yes.
And,
the holy chicken.
Exactly. So eat more chicken.
That's right.
So he said, you know what? I'm still on that board and I'm still going to nominate them. But I'm going to find out, is there a limit on how many that I can nominate? Because we would love to nominate the training source as well. And so he said, go ahead and write the proposal. I'm going to go ahead and put it in. And so he did, he did what he had to do. We went on and submitted the proposal. And then we got a response back saying that you have been accepted, basically.
Oh, wow.
And what being accepted means is you're on the ground floor. It's like get in where you fit in.
That's
so
right.
You're on the ground floor. It's up to you to determine how much you get, the organization will get.
Okay.
And so now it becomes a competition. And so there's a Northeast competition, like a West Coast competition. And so I think our area was probably from Virginia to Massachusetts or something like that. And now people had to vote online for a 3-week period. And if you got, depending on the numbers of votes that you got, you could get more than the initial.
Oh, so the community is involved in the
community
process
is
as well.
involved.
Okay.
Yep. So we actually did a PowerPoint slide and sent it to them. So it would say, you want a shake, you want some fries, you want to vote for the training source, you want some shakes, you want some fries, you want to vote for the training source. We went and printed signage that they put up in the drive-through. So as you came through, it was like, help us support the training source and get more votes. You had to download the app. So we had instructions on the signage on how to download the app. And so people voted for us enough that we earned another $20,000. So we ended up with a $50,000 award.
That is phenomenal.
Yep, in January. Thank you very much. And next month, I actually fly to Atlanta to Chick-fil-A's headquarters for for an actual presentation of an award, even though we got the money right away. And some executive training.
Oh, phenomenal.
So I think it's amazing.
Yes, that is phenomenal. That's phenomenal.
So we've done several things like that. There's some grants where you apply and there's only going to be one winner. But it's a large amount, so it could be like $100,000 or more, and so you go through different stages. And we've always gotten to the end. We've never won any of those, but those are good grants as well. They're good.
It's good practice.
Not only is it good practice, because most of these are giving circles, so they're individuals who've gotten together and donated their money, and then they decide who's going to get the big prize. But we've gotten some really good individual donors from that, and people who tell us about other opportunities. Like, here's another giving circle you should apply to. And so I'm very grateful for those people who wouldn't have never known about us if we didn't apply. So I think those are good as well.
Phenomenal. Well, I tell you, I feel like as it relates to fundraising, I'm just watching you and the work that you're doing and the different things that you guys are getting access to, and now you're winning the larger awards. It is inspiring, and it helps put a battery in my back to make sure that I'm doing all the things that I can to ensure that I bring funding into my organization. So thank you for what you're doing. I would love for you to come back and
love to. This was easy.
Yeah, talk more about the different best practices in nonprofits.
Okay.
We can speak more about fundraising if you want, but I think with you, having that background and, already teaching this kind of content, having that conversation on a regular basis, I think would be value to, other nonprofits who are trying to grow their bottom line, who, need to understand, the best practices in procurement and hiring, as well as, just understanding how you need to, organize your documents and things like that. So they can be ready,
Yep.
To go through a process like the standards, what is it called?
Standards for excellence.
Standards for excellence.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm ready. I think it's time for me to go through that process.
I think you should.
And
it does make a difference.
With your guidance, I'm sure I could win.
And you could with my guidance, but you could even better with like nonprofit Prince George's County,
Yep.
because they have the workshops.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's right. And I used to go to them all the time. But when they trained executive directors, I kind of dropped off, and
Yeah.
I've been doing my own thing. I need to start back, participating in their programming.
Yes, I think you should.
Yeah. Okay. Well, is there anything else you'd like to say to our audience, or any one thing you want to leave them with? We spoke about, a few best practices. But if there was anything you wanted to leave them with that, to encourage them to move forward, what would it be?
So first, before I even do that, I want to give kudos to you and the Denney House,
Oh,
because you all are
thank you.
doing phenomenal work. And I'm so glad that I was led back to you, and we have been having conversations lately. So I'm very, very grateful for the work that you do. And then for the nonprofit community, I would say that partnerships and collaborations are critical for your success. I would say that because funding is so scarce, a partnership doesn't always mean that money is changing hands, but it means that you all have some kind of agreement to better serve the people that you're serving. And so if it's referring people, if it is, sharing resources, like, we actually hosted people in our site to do different workshops that they need to be giving, or whatever it might be.
Okay.
We're all in this game together, and the better our constituents win, the better we all win.
Yes. So if anyone wanted to get in touch with you, they wanted to find out more about the training source, tell us how they can reach out.
Okay, so we're located at 59 Yost Place in Seat Pleasant, which is right by the Addison Road Metro. Our phone number is 301-499-8872. Our website is the training source. And we're on social media at mostly the training source. I think our Twitter might be one training source or something like that, but they're all available on our website as well.
Okay, and we'll put that up on the screen.
Perfect.
So, do you have any upcoming events that you want to tell us about? If there's any new services up on deck?
It's funny you should say that. This is spring, so spring has sprung, and so things are very busy with us at the training source. We're part of the Children's Mental Health Awareness Task Force, so we have a big event coming up on May 3rd that we don't have flyers yet for, but it's a come out and play event for Children's Mental Health Awareness Week kickoff. It's a free event. We believe it's going to be at Tucker Road Rec, and food's going to be there, free ice skating for children, but there will be exhibitors, and so if you're interested in exhibiting, let us know as well, to share information with the community about what's going on. This is Second Chance Month, so we're doing a lot of job fairs and community events to help people who have been in the penal system understand the resources that are available to them. We have summer programs coming up. We have 7 different summer youth programs that we'll be doing this summer. Most importantly, what I need is anybody who knows 9th graders to refer them to us for our youth leadership program that I didn't talk about. We have a 3-year youth leadership program for 10th, 11th, and 12th graders. They apply in the 9th grade, and they're with us the rest of high school. We pay for the juniors to go on a spring break tour from Virginia to Florida to visit colleges. And we pay our seniors, we give them a one-time scholarship for the school of their choice if they choose to transition to college. We're in our 21st year of that program with phenomenal outcomes and results. And so applications are out right now on our website. And if you know high school seniors who don't plan to go to college, please refer them to us because we want them to enroll in one of our career programs so that by September they already have certifications. They're starting a career, not looking for a job job. And when they finish 4 years of working and their friends are coming out of college, they'll still be on par financially.
Awesome. Well, I couldn't end it better than that. Thank you so much for joining us today. Let us know how you feel about the conversation. Give us some feedback. Like, follow, and subscribe for more content like this. And we'll see you next time on the Social Changemakers Podcast.